Right, we're carrying on. So I reverted to taking off the ball joint because it was easier. And this one's knackered anyway. I've got another one to go on, so all good. Now the hub is starting to come apart, as you can see. Now normally I'd take this off, but it's an absolute arse ache and I don't really want to take it off and, you know, meddle with it. So I've just been hitting it from behind and it's all coming off. As you can see. And pop goes the weasel. And then all we have to do now is drive the inner race out. Put that in the bin, and then I'm going to get the my bearing presser tool to press this out. Now, I've already started driving it, and it made a cracking noise, so I think it is coming out. I've had to do it reverse because I haven't got the correct socket to fit on the nut on that side, so that's why I've got this spanner there. But I think it's working, so I'm just going to place this camera here. Hopefully you can still. Right, hopefully you can see, so let's wait. And it's out. Okay. Doesn't look too bad in there. I'll use some of this Vaseline spray just to give this a clean. See the camera moving, it's on one of those swan things, so it uses Vaseline spray, so it's nice and slippy in there. do. Now we're going to press the bearing in. Okay, put some grease in there. That'll do. And then we want some grease on our bearing. Now remember, that side has to be point towards the engine, because that's where your ABS sensor reads its data from. So it's got to go that way. Give that a bit of grease. You know me, I like to be liberal. When you initially put it in, just make sure it's in there square and even. Right, let me just get this set up. Now you need to make sure it's sitting square, otherwise it will go in bent. Now should be able to drive this in. Oh. Okay, I'm going to drive the rest of this in rather than bore you watching it. Now, at this point it's obviously it's in, but it's not in all the way. So you change from that plate to something that just fits. So that is a perfect fit. See that? So it can push it in all the way, because it's not all the way in yet. Could even use two plates actually. Okay, I think that's in to go in all the way now. Yeah, it's going. There you go. That is the bearing installed. Again, so much easier if you've got a impact gun. You can just whiz it in. Make sure it's in all there yet, all there yet. There's no gaps, can't get the finger in any gaps at the back there. Okay. Next we have to get the inner race off the hub ready to be pressed in, and I'll show you why it's an important procedure when you press the hub in, otherwise you can damage the bearing. You don't want to be doing that. I'm running out of charge on my GoPro, so what you have to do is you have to get your angle grinder and carefully put a slit in there to loosen this off, and then you can pull it off. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go away and do that, and then hopefully have a fully charged GoPro and we can carry on filming. Okay, we're going to drive the hub in now. Now I've angle ground the inner race off. Just make sure it's square. And another tip, at the back you've got to choose a plate that sits inside the bearing. Otherwise, if it's sat on the ridge, when you press this in, it'll push the inner bearing out and then your bearing's bollocks. So be wary of that. And that'll do. That'll do nicely. Now, what do we want to do? Let's get the drive shaft in. Let's get shaft in. Because getting the drive shaft in can be a bit of an arsehole as well. Okay, it's nearly there. Normally I hit it about here while pushing. Just carry on that method. The method I'm using is working. Come on. I can use a screwdriver just to... What an arse ache. Anyway, I'm going to carry on with this for here all night, otherwise. Okay, I've finally got the shaft in. And the reason why it wasn't going in, I hadn't realised that the hub had dropped down from the strut, hence why it was stuck. So anyway, I'm going to put the ball joint back on. Now this isn't a brand new one, but it was new. It wasn't on the car for long. On the other side I misdiagnosed a problem, so this one in fact is a good one. So I'm going to show you how I do it. Now I fit it in first. Goes in all the way. Now you want your nut. Just want to tighten that up a bit. Find my bit that I need. Here it is. Okay. Now, as I said, this is how I do it. So I first put it into the hub, and then what I'll do is, I can't do it one-handed, but what I'll do is I'll bend that down, pull this out, and slide it into there, and then put the nuts in. So I won't be able to do this. So, and there you go, one wheel bearing done. I have to torque this up yet. I think it's 240 Newton meters, but don't take my word for it on that. Do your own research, but I think it's around that range. And I know the boot split on that. I'm going to have to either change that at some point or get a replacement boot, but I'll come back to that now. Yeah, just need to tighten these bolts up down here. That's it. Put my new pads on, put my new disc on, and get the wheel back on. Job done. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.